It Only Hurts Till It Stops by smollestAsriel, published in 2023, completed in 2024. 27,768 words, 6 chapters, and probably be in 12 parts. I will say that there's mentions of there is very much descriptions of violence on this. This is not for anybody who's weak-stomached. This is a good fic, but it is definitely not for kids. I will read the tags off because they are very much necessary in a warning. Kidnapping, torture, like I'm not joking here, guys, you've been warned. Alternate universe, canon version. Midoriya Izuku needs a hug, and Shinzo needs a hug and therapy. They probably both need therapy after this. Human experimentation. All for one is Midoriya's parent. Non-consensual drug use. Angst, heavy angst with a happy ending, sort of. No one dies. Temporary character death. With that, we get on to the summary. Shigaraki kidnaps 2 people at the training camp in this universe instead of 1. Midoriya Izuku for his possession one for all, and Shinzo Itoshi for the potential of his work for villainy. And this time, they're much more careful. This time, when the heroes break down the door in the bar in the alleyway of Camino Ward, there's no one to catch. This time, when heroes follow a tracker to the warehouse half a district away, there's no all for one to stop. It doesn't take long for Midoriya and Shinzo to realize they can only rely on each other. It doesn't take long for them to realize that might not be enough. As it gets harder and harder to survive, the boys fight to hold on to themselves. But they're just kids. They can't hold on forever. Hopefully, they don't need to. I'll be reading part of the notes because I just need you guys to know that this in the next video will include implied torture and implied electrocution. Chapter 1. When Izuku wakes up, his whole body is throbbing. Vague flashes of memories from the last time he's awake cycle through his head. The training camp, the fire, the villains. Muscular Coda. That explains why his body feels like a mountain got dropped on it. He had to break himself in order to stop Muscular, to save Coda from dying. And before that, he'd been slammed into solid rock multiple times just to distract the villain. Then he couldn't even rest because the other villains were after Shinzo. Oh fuck, where's Shinzo? Where's Izuku? He's in the room. The room he's in is dark, with overhead LED lights that's dim, like one of those lights meant to simulate the day and night cycle. There's a toilet in the corner with a curtain that's pulled around it for a while. Okay, privacy is an overstatement, but that's probably the idea. And a bed in the opposite corner, the one farthest from the door, that's in the corner across from the toilet. And that's it. The bed has ratty sheets and a pillow that looks like it probably could support a feather, and no blankets. He strains his memory, tries to figure out what happened after he went to the forest in search of Shinzo. It's all a blur. He can vaguely recall Tokoyami, Shoji, Dark Shadow going berserk, and Todoroki and Bakugo. And there was that cannibal villain, and nothing. There's nothing else. Just blank in his mind he can't quite get over. Izuku groans and lets his head thump against the floor. He should get up and look around the room. That's weak points in the wall, but he knows, even without trying, that getting up is going to be pure agony. It wouldn't be worth it to try to get up only to black out from the pain again. Instead, he takes stock of everything he reasonably deduced about his state. Both his arms are shattered, and his ribs are bruised at best. Some of them are probably fractured, and there's a significant amount of bruising along the rest of his body. Someone's changed his clothes, though. He's in black gym shorts and a plain white tank top that he wasn't in before. It means that he has a great view of his mangled, bloodied, and bruised skin, and of the shiny, thick silver cuff around his wrist with a blinking green light. A quirk suppressor. If the absence of one for all bubbling under his skin is any indication, his ability to see and hear doesn't seem to be altered in any way. He still make noise, still move, and it hurts. Sensei hasn't gone over what to do in a kidnapping situation yet, but Izuku knows the basics from years of being afraid of traffickers coming after him because of his quirkless status. Be compliant, don't start any fights, stay as little as possible even when asked direct questions, and look out for all opportunities to escape. The first step for Izuku is to figure out whether or not Shinzo is stuck in here for him. There are 3 options. If he is, he's being held somewhere else, separate from Izuku. That could be problematic. Izuku won't leave without him, but without the ability to communicate, coordinating an escape would be difficult. If Shinzo is here, and he's supposed to be staying in the cell with Izuku, then that's both better and worse. Better because having an extra person to watch it back while they try to escape would be reassuring, especially someone like Shinzo who's doing really good training with Aizawa. Worse, because it could get used against each other, and also Izuku's really fucking hoping Shinzo isn't here at all. If Shinzo isn't here, then Izuku needs to figure out exactly where here is in order to get out of, to give the league a slip and make a break for it. Coming to the plan on his own, especially while he's so heavily injured, could prove challenging, but at least he won't have to worry about getting anyone else hurt. Just as he finishes running through all the potential plan options in his head, heavy footsteps sound from outside the room he's in. He pushes through the pain to maneuver himself into a sitting position, and fuck, does it hurt. By the time he's propped up on the wall, his chest is heaving and there are tears in his eyes. Some of those ribs are definitely fractured. The footsteps right outside his door, and then it creaks open. The sound is grating to his ears. Harsh lighting from the hallway forces Izuku to squint and look at the floor, but he doesn't miss what looks like a Nomu shoving Shinzo back in the cell roughly. What should I do then? Fuck. Shinzo crashes to the ground with a grunt, catching himself in the elbows before collapsing completely. The door is shut the moment he stirs, slamming with a resounding thud that echoes to his space. Izuku, momentarily blinded by its return to such dim lighting, but he hears Shinzo breathing heavily. Then he whimpers, curling into himself, one hand rising to grasp for something on his throat that Izuku can't make out. The other tangles in his hair. His breaths are audibly speeding up, and he's shaking, gasping for air like a fish out of water. A panic attack. He's having a panic attack. Shinzo, Izuku cries. He uses his knees to try to shuffle his body towards the other boy, but it hurts, and he doesn't get very far before he has to stop and take measured breaths to work through the pain. Shinzo, hey. He tries again. Can you hear me? The other boy nods and chokes on another breath. Izuku realizes with start that he's crying. Shinzo, you have to breathe. I can't get over to you. I'm too injured, but you have to breathe, okay? In for 4. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there you go. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3. It takes a few minutes, but eventually the other boy calms down. Both of his hands are buried in his wild hair by now, gripping it so tightly it must hurt. A long moment of his breath return to normal, and Shinzo finally speaks. Sorry, he gasps. Sorry. It's okay, Shinzo. It's okay, Izuku assures, because it is. They're kidnapped, and Izuku has no idea what just happened to him. It was something awful. He's allowed to be upset. But Shinzo shakes his head and sits up and gives Izuku and I a good view of a collar around his throat, metal like the cuff around Izuku's wrist with the same blinking green light. The skin around the collar is burned. Izuku feels his mouth run dry. Is that a shock collar? He whispers, staring at it in horror. Shinzo flinches. That's all the answer Izuku needs. They want me to join them. The other boy mutters. Shigaraki got pretty mad when I said no. But he said that his sensei wants me alive or something. I don't know what it is. Fuck. Izuku says. Okay. Did you catch anything about the layout of the halls? The other boy purses his lips and shakes his head. I woke up somewhere else, like in this dingy little bar room. I was strapped to a chair, and then on the way back, I was pretty out of it. I think Kirker brought me here, though. We're in a different facility, definitely. Of course Jinzo was out of it. He got fucking tortured. We need a plan, Izuku says, but he has no idea how to start making one. We're not gonna get out of here without quirks while you're injured like that, and I can be incapacitated with the push of a button. She points out. We need to start a rest and regroup, figure out how to get these things off of us. Izuku glances at the cuff on his mangled wrist. Mine might be electrocuted too. He adds quietly. Yeah. Shinzo murmurs back, then drags a hand down his face. Fuck. Izuku swallows. That's a pretty accurate summary of this whole situation. They sit in silence for a moment. Shinzo's clearly shaken from earlier, and Izuku gives him space to get himself together. The position he managed to get into against the wall is starting to strain his neck and back, though. He grits his teeth and tries to pull himself up, but his mangled limbs scrape uselessly against the ground. Scrape painfully against the ground. Izuku gasps and slips back down, slumps only his head and shoulders to support it, and the sudden movement hurts even more. Midoriya, Shinzo cries. What the fuck? Don't try and move. Izuku looks over to see the other boys halfway at his feet, hand outstretched towards him. He shoots Shinzo a sheepish smile. Sorry, my back was just kind of hurting. Then ask for help, idiot. The other boy scoffs, getting up to improperly walking over to him. We're stuck here for God knows how long. Might as well learn to work together. Izuku's smile turns to a smirk as Shinzo crouches next to him. If I recall correctly, you're the one that doesn't like working with me. Shinzo's eyes dart up to meet his, and one of his eyebrows raises, unimpressed. Then he goes back to examining how to best reposition him. How are your ribs? He asks, ignoring Izuku's previous statement. I think some of them are fractured, but nothing's broken. I can breathe fine, at least. One of the other boy's hands pressed against his lower stomach, right on his belly button, and the other goes to his shoulder blades. Any pain? He checks. Izuku stops and examines how he's actually feeling. I'm bruised, like, everywhere, so this is the best we're gonna get. Okay, stay still. In one swift motion, Shinzo supports him into a much more comfortable position against the wall, sitting up fully against it. Then he pulls back, giving Izuku a quick once-over. Better? Izuku nods and gives him a gentle smile. Yeah, thanks. Shinzo nods back at him, and then shuffles away, sitting up against the wall too. He's just a bit out of arm's reach, enough that he's distant, but not too far should Izuku need help again. He lapses into silence once more. Izuku shuts off his eyes and tries to relax as much as he's able to, with the steady throbbing in his arms and chest. If the League of Villains uses limbs like this for too long, they might never recover. I can't read you, Shinzo whispers after an unknown amount of time. It's quiet, like a confession. What? Izuku asks, matching his volume and turning his head to the other boy to get his full attention. You've got, flashy green lightning, super strength, bone-breaking power. People like that they aren't usually nice to me. They're nice to people like me. She just sucks in her breath and starts fiddling with his hands. I thought it was an act at first, every time you'd wave to me or something. But then you didn't stop doing it, even when I was an asshole to you for months. And then I was confused. I am confused. His gaze turns complimentary, still aimed at his fingers intertwining over and over again. I know you're just generally a good guy now, but I still can't quite pin down why. Your brand of kindness is like you get it, but what it's like to be from my side of the aisle, and I can't read you. People that I can't read make me nervous, so I just stayed away, I guess. Sorry. Izuku takes a moment to digest this. he wasn't exactly expecting a heart-to-heart while they were kidnapped with the potential of torture looming over his head, but one eye seems to have a really bad habit of trauma bonding, so why not keep it up? You don't have to apologize, is what he starts with, and then, because I do get it. Shinzo looks at him, gaze only a little bit guarded. It's more open than not, more curious than suspicious. If they're stuck in here together for an unknown amount of time, then Shinzo can't be working with only half the story. Izuku knows, he has known since the sports festival that the league is being run by All For One. And it's not hard to put two and two together and realize they kidnapped Izuku because they want One For All. Not telling Shinzo about One For All is in a situation where this could only put them in more danger. They need to be strong, united, or else villains will be able to pit them against each other. Hopefully All Might understands. So, he says, what I've got to tell you, you cannot repeat to anyone once we get out of here. Oh shit. Shinzo breathes out loud. Breathes out, then louder. Yeah, no, I can do that. Izuku turns his head so he's looking straight ahead. Then he shuts his eyes and says, my quirk isn't mine. What? The other boy responds immediately. How do you have someone else's quirk? What was your original one? What? He feels a slip quirk up involuntarily. I didn't have one originally. I still am, biologically, at least, quirkless. There is a bit of silence, then she just says, oh fuck, I really am an asshole, huh? Izuku can't help it. He laughs. The sound jolts and hurts his ribs, and he turns into a half-choked off wheeze a moment later, but you're not, he grits out between clenched teeth, trying to breathe through the pain he just caused himself. He already said you didn't have to apologize. You didn't know, and I wasn't going to tell you or anyone else, but then, well, we ended up here. She's a finishes for him. So, did you, take one of their quirks or something? Is that why they took you? Izuku takes another deep, stuttering breath. Sort of, he begins, and then tells Shinzo the full story. All for one, One for All Might's time limit, the fight that cost him his stomach, and a long Izuku's life story growing up. Skipping over some names and details, of course. Receiving One For All, and then figuring out that All For One was still alive, and that he'd have to fight him eventually. Shinzo is quiet for a long, long time after Izuku finishes. It's a lot to take in. He doesn't press the boy. Give some space to think about it. So, if All For One kidnapped you to get your quirk, Shinzo speaks up, voice carefully measured. Then why hasn't he taken it yet? Izuku pauses. I don't think he can. I don't think One For All can be stolen like other quirks. Izuku whispers. The realization fills him with cold, mounting dread. You have to give it to him. He has to make you give it to him. She's over, sounding a little bit sick. Yeah, Izuku mutters. Yeah, no, I think so. The breaking conversation, the weight of that statement falling over them. Like torture Shinzo today because he didn't want to join them. How All For One react when Izuku tells him no. How many hundreds of quirks he must own. How many different ways he can make Izuku's existence for the foreseeable future agony. The heroes are going to come for us. Izuku tries to assure both himself and Shinzo. We won't be here that long. He gives the other boy... The look the other boy gives him is cautiously optimistic. Probably, he agrees. But just in case, you can't give him One For All. Izuku blinks. I wasn't really planning on it. No. I mean, he cuts off with a frustrated huff. Dude, you broke your bones like glow sticks at the beginning of the year. Yes? Izuku says, not quite sure where Shinzo is going with this. Your pain tolerance is insane. I'm not worried about you. Oh, fuck. You think? I think, Shinzo says carefully, that I'm already being uncooperative. It won't take long for Shigaraki decides that getting you to comply is ultimately more important than leaving me alive. And I'm telling you now, in sound mind and body, that you cannot give him your quirk under any circumstances. The other boy's voice shakes a little as he says it. Izuku doesn't blame him because he is acutely aware that he is already crying. Shinzo, he starts, but he doesn't really know where he's going with it, because Shinzo is right, as much as Izuku loathes to admit it. Giving up one for all would be giving up the world's last line of defense. The man's against one for all. The man is a gigantic criminal empire that's centuries old, hundreds of unknown quirks in his arsenal, and the element of surprise without one for all's sheer power. No one can stand a match. Aizawa might, depending on the limitations of erasure. All might still has lost vestiges of the quirk within him, but if all of one got a hold of his stockpile powers, all of that combined with his quirk, it would be a massacre. No one would survive. No one that the supervillain didn't want to. Anyways. Okay, Izuku whispers, voice sounding pathetic even to his own ears. I won't. Shinzo sighs, giving a heavy sound. Great, he says. Glad we got that sorted. The silence that follows afterwards is charged, the feeling of inevitability weighing down on them both. Izuku wants them to hold him, really, and tell him that everything is going to be okay. He settles for mumbling. We should probably get some rest. You're probably tired. She looks at him for a moment. He does look tired. Eye bags deep as ever and made worse by the pain he's probably still in from his burns. He doesn't seem to be saying anything, but then he thinks better of it and nods. Yeah, do you want me to help you onto the bed? Izuku shakes his head. It's just the floor. You can have the bed. You sure? The other boy checks. You're worse off than I am. It hurt too much to move over there. I assure it's okay. That earns him a contemplative frown. Shinzo eyes the bed for a moment and then nods. You can have the pillow, at least. A fair compromise. Izuku nods and tries to still be as still as possible, unless Shinzo lowers him gently to a comfortable position laying on the floor. It's hard, and the movement hurts despite how gentle his friend's being, but they got him there. Then Shinzo grabs the pillow, folds it in half, makes it a little sturdier, and puts it under his head. Good? He checks and stands up. Izuku nods and gives a smile. Cool, yell if you need something, Shinzo says. He eases himself into the bed, shoves in a position that doesn't irritate his friends, and then passes right the fuck out. Izuku lays awake for a little longer, just staring at the ceiling, running through what he knows over and over again. They were kidnapped by the League. They do not know where they are. They are both injured. Izuku more than Shinzo. Izuku is at risk of permanent disfigurement if his arms aren't healed soon. Shinzo could be killed any second if Shigaraki uses the shock collar to stop his heart. They have no access to food or water or anything to use for warmth. The League wants Shinzo to join them, and All for One wants Izuku's quirk. And All for One cannot get his quirk under any circumstances. Automatically, his eyes drift to Shinzo's unconscious form. He swallows a lump. He swallows once. It's hard to get past the lump in his throat. He falls asleep. With tear tracks in his face and taste of salt on his lips. That's the first chapter, guys. This is so long. I hope you enjoyed. This fic took me several days to complete in real life. I hope this doesn't take more than a week or two to film and record and edit and do all that. Because this is an amazing fic, and I don't want to leave anybody hanging. Because this thing, I was literally crying when I found this at first, because it was not finished when I first found it, and only half of the things were posted, and I was just no, I I need to see the rest of it. And I almost had I almost started crying. And then later on, it was like the next day after I found it was posted, and I was like this 6th chapter was posted. It wasn't finished. It was left on a cliffhanger, and the 6th chapter was posted, and I was like, yes! So I am going to post the next one tomorrow. It is getting too late for me to be up. So yeah, I need to just get sleep. You need to drink water, eat meals, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Goodbye.